Hello guys, welcome back to FWS Boxing, and today I'm delighted to get back on the channel Brad Axe. He's had three fights with two wins with one defeat. His next fight is at Stamford Bridge um, on the Friday the 4th of April, and the battle at the bridge. And yes, how are you doing today, Brad?
Very good, thank you, Sam, mate. Yeah, it's good to be back on here with you. Good to catch up.
Anytime, Brad, good to get you on. And of course, you know, you've had your last fight was, I believe, was December against Jensen Irvin.
Yeah, December 6th at York Hall. 6th, sorry, at York Hall. It was a good fight. I enjoyed it. It was good to get my first six rounder under the belt. First fight at York Hall as well, which was an experience. Yeah, and we're getting ready now to go again.
Yeah, 100%, of course. Um, yeah. So explain to people what's happened to your fight on the UK v USA card, and explain what's happening.
So over the last few months, I struggled a little bit with getting an opponent signed off by the border control. Obviously, they're very tight on letting certain fights happen and stuff, and opponents over there not having credible opposition prior to this fight. So basically I've struggled to get an opponent, so it's been announced that I won't be taking part in the UK versus USA side of the show. However, I've still got my slot on the show, and it will just be a normal UK opponent on the same show, which is massive for me because obviously you sell X amount of tickets, you train, you pay a nutritionist, everything is set for this date. So to still be involved in the show is a massive thing to me. So I'm very grateful for my management team and TM14 and Fight Academy for still having me on the show.
Yeah, right. I know that they've struggled with a few opponents because, a few opponent fights have been announced, and then, oh, they've got a different opponent now. It's
Yeah,
changing quite a bit,
I,
but
I think it's all to do with the boxing border control just being as strict. Obviously, this for relevant reasons, but as strict as they are, that's why certain opponents are getting denied. Fights aren't getting sanctioned,
yeah, I'm
and
shocked because you had somebody who was 3-0 lined up, so I don't see why that couldn't have been.
yeah, I think it's to do with I think it's to do with the level of their opposition. So I've had a few. I had a guy two guys who were 1-0, one of which was someone who had one knockout. There was someone else who'd had three, won one, lost one, drew one, which on paper is a good fight.
Yeah,
Do you know
that
what
was
I mean?
it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was another lad who was 3-0 with three knockouts, who my coach and my management team, obviously at this stage of my career, after already suffering a defeat, they decided that that wasn't going to go. Um, so yeah, it's all been a bit up in the air, a little bit frustrating, but for me, I've just been keeping my head down, still training as if I'm fighting, and like I say, then we was offered the space on the show anyway, so I'm just excited to get in there, get it done, and on to the next one.
Yeah, and of course, you did fight out in America. You had that whole experience. You boxed Julian Delgado, who I believe is quite a good ticket seller over over there. And it was, other than, of course you got there was a controversial knockdown. Other than that, it was a very close fight, and it could have been a draw.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? I think if that fight been in the UK, take away the knockdown, I think it maybe could have gone either way. I think me taking that knee in the third, uh, I think that made it clear who was going to win at the end. However,
Mm.
obviously, again, the controversy of I sort of knocked him down in the second round. His knee touched down. The ref didn't give it. But again, do you know what I mean?
Do you
It's
feel like you
happened.
got robbed that night?
No, I don't feel like I got robbed. It was a close fight. Let's say they scored his knockdown. I felt like that was a bit muggy, a little bit of not giving that. Let's say they scored that, or I didn't go down and take my knee, then it could have been closer. But even still, do you know what I mean? You go into America, you know you're gonna have to work harder than what you usually would to get a win. So do you know what I mean? Respect to Julian, he did what he had to do to get the win, and maybe we'll get it on at some point in the future on one of these UK versus USA shows, especially if they keep doing them, and we'll have it over here.
Yeah, well, hopefully, I mean, I was up, I think it started about probably midnight. I mean, I was up most of the night watching it. I
I
think we
think
got,
I'd announced that I'd put on my social media and stuff that I was probably going to be on about 2 o'clock UK time, and I don't think I ring walked until about. I think it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. So fair play to everyone who stayed up. Obviously yourself as well. Like staying up that late to watch a fight. My a couple of my friends said that they were like in and out of sleep. I had it on the TV, in and out of sleep, and then they like sort of woke up as I come on. But yeah, it was a late night, and even for us over there, 'cause I think there was a bit of a delay with starting because of the tightness and stuff of the ropes. But eventually we got the ball rolling. Obviously, like I say, because he was quite a big ticket seller, we were on towards the end. So yeah, it was a late night for everybody.
yeah, and well, hopefully, I've watched it maybe two or three times back since. Yeah, and I thought it was very close fight. I mean, you can't argue, that he got the decision. I probably gave it to him just on that knockdown by like
Yeah,
1 point, but it was
yeah,
really close. And hopefully, down the line, as you said a minute ago, that you can get the rematch, maybe over
yeah.
maybe 6 rounds next time.
Definitely, and I think that would probably suit me. I think I'd change my style up a little bit as well with facing him next time. But yeah, which I mean, respect to him. He's gone on and he's done big things. He boxed for a WBC youth belt.
Oh, did he?
Unfortunately, he come up short, but yeah, do you know what I mean? We'll get on at some point in the future. The experience of going over there outweighed the loss. Yes, it was a risk earlier on in my career, but I sort of showed who I am, what I'm about, and like I say, we're onto it now. So
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, you get Roy Jones and stuff watching your box as well.
exactly, mate, exactly. And again, that's led me to then box on this show,
On this is
and
and
they want me on it. So
yeah, because
especially to then keep my slot.
you done so well last time. That's why they've got you back on. Of course,
Yeah.
I think Arnie's also on it and
Uh,
Harvey Horn.
yeah, that's it. Arnie and Harvey Horn. I think Ollie Duffy was supposed to be originally.
And then
Uh,
I think he's got an area title fight next week.
yeah, yeah. So that's obviously took him off of it, which is good. Fair play to him for getting that shot. I'm sure he'll go on to do well.
Yeah, and I'm still, even though you're not part and you're not fighting on UK USA, you're still on the card. A stadium fight at Stamford Bridge.
Exactly.
Still a big night for you.
Yeah, it's a big step up. Like to box at Stamford Bridge is massive. It helps with the ticket sales because it is such a prestigious place. And yeah, it'll be a good night of boxing. There's some good other fighters on the card. If all the matches go well, because obviously having a bit of dramas with that as a whole, not just my fight, it's everybody's. I think a few opponents are being pushed back, so
Yeah.
fingers crossed everything goes to plan, and yeah, we have a full card of boxing. It would be good.
Yeah, I mean exactly that. I mean, of course, Arnie, he was with you over in America. Same with Harvey. How do you think those two will get on in their fights?
Yeah, brilliant. Harvey's Harvey. Do you know what I mean? He's an experienced top boy. And Arnie, I love Arnie, just how he carries himself, and he he says it in the press conference. Well, I'm not sure if you watched that, but he says like everyone just looks at him and thinks that he's just this like little boxer who's like a young kid, and actually he's a top level and he'll go far. Obviously, it was a stoppage last time with out in America as well.
Mm.
But does that put a target on his back? I know he's got a tougher opponent now, again because of this whole opponent issue, but he's got a tough one. I'm sure he'll pull it out of the bag.
Yeah, 100%. And of course, his opponent had a lot to say in the build up, like at the press
Yeah.
over there. And Arnie ended up stopping him. And it looks like he's got a good opponent here who's had 16 fights, 13 wins, 3 draws. So he's a bit more experienced than Arnie, but that's what he wants. And I'm sure that's going to be a great fight.
Yeah, it'll be good for him, and I think it'll bring the best out of Arnie having someone with that sort of experience there.
hmm And of course, yeah, it's just a great card in general. Jack Hughes is boxing, Oriel Ignore, Marley Mason. It's a great card, and of course, you were at the Talk. Was it Talk Sports Studio?
Yeah, Talksport head office. We went there for a press conference again, which was good. We had Roy Jones Jr. on the live stream joining us as well. So obviously Spence Oliver was there, both promoters. It was brilliant, and it was a good experience to sort of have that proper press conference build up. It was great. Same as what we did out there. We had a press conference a couple of days before. We had the weigh in, the ceremonial weigh in. So I'm sure what the promoters have got planned for the build up of this one, it's going to be very similar, if
And I'm
not
sure
better.
fight
So
week's going to be busy as well, like last time.
yeah, again, I think I won't say anything just in case they want to keep it a surprise. But there's some cool things planned fight week for the build up. Obviously, with it being at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah, 100%. And are you back in Team UK for the W this time round as well?
Team UK's got to do it. If we can go over to them first time out and nick a draw, we're gonna cut. We're gonna breeze it over here at this side, 100%.
100%. And yeah, you said you so you don't have an opponent yet, but it should be confirmed in the next couple days, yeah?
Yeah, hopefully by like Monday or Tuesday, the opponent will be confirmed for me, and then I can sort of do a little bit of studying and go from there with my coach. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad that to still be on the show and to have this opportunity.
And are you expecting a six rounder?
Yeah, six rounder. Obviously, the other fights are all five rounders just to stop the chance of a draw. Um, but yeah, I'll be doing a six. I don't want to drop that back down to a four. The only thing that will depend on is if there's space on the show for a six rounder or however they want to play it. But yeah, for me and my development, I want a few more sixes this year, a couple more sixes, sorry, and then go up to eight, and hopefully by the start of next year, I'll be knocking on the door for an area title.
Yeah, it's a big year for you this year. How many? I know you've got this one lined up, but how many are you planning on having?
So I've had three so far. Obviously, been pro for a year now. So this will be my fourth fight in the year. So I think four fights a year uh, is a pretty good steady pace for me. Obviously, I work full time as well. I'm still in the military.
Mhm.
Um, Still got a family. So four fights a year is a good steady pace to stay as active as possible while still giving everyone else a bit of my time. You know.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, would you say how talk about your camp? Has it been hard to keep going with all the opponent switches and last minute changes here and there, or
Um, don't get me wrong. When I was first told, probably about a week and a half ago, that look, I'm not going to be on the show. This is like the fourth or fifth opponent that's been turned down, um, so I won't be on it anymore. I sort of not threw my toys out the pram, but I was a little bit like, oh bloody hell, uh, and then like started contacting people that had bought tickets, started sending ticket money back and stuff, and then that was when obviously my manager got in touch with me and explained what could potentially still happen. I was like, well, yeah, I'm keen for that as long as you are. Um, and yeah, and that was sort of a pick me up again. But I was still training. I was actually at a wedding the day after that. I'd found out that I wasn't going to be on it, so the opportunity was there to sort of, I don't know, not that I'm a big drinker, but enjoy myself at the wedding, eat a bit more food, have a few bevies with one of my best friends who got married, and I didn't. And I'm obviously now I'm very glad that I didn't, and I've still nothing. There's no sort of setback from having a few drinks, or I've not put on 2 kilograms from eating my body weight in food. You know, I'm all good.
good to hear? And I know it would be a bit gutting, not being on the UK USA side of things, but the main thing is that you're staying active and you've got a fight at the end of the day.
Yep, yep, definitely. Like for me, it's just about that staying active. It's been a few months now since my last one. I did pick up a bit of a injury with my hand after that last one, so it's just
What round was that?
I think it was like, well, basically the whole fight. It got progressively worse. You could probably see it if you watch it back, but I remember in the fifth round, especially, punching Jensen on like the top of the head because as he was slipping, he was almost slipping down into it, and I remember cracking him on the top of the head, and it just felt like I'd been electrocuted like up my hand. And my dad after basically was like, why are you showboating? Because he thought I was like spinning my arm around like that in a circle, like showboating, but it wasn't. It was purely down to the fact that it hurt. So, yeah, I had to have basically December off to rest that and make sure that was better. Um, but yeah, it's better now, all healed, all seen the physio and stuff. Everything's all good. So,
Good to hear. And what can fans expect from Brad Axe on Friday, the 4th of Feb at Stamford Bridge?
Brad Axe is coming back for a knockout. I'm coming back now. I need to. Do you know what I mean? I've got the 6 rounds under the belt. I need to come back and I need to show something like proper here, and that's what I'm gonna do.
Come back with a bang.
That's the plan, mate. That's exactly the plan.
Exactly that. And yeah, before I let you go, Brad, do you want to shout out anyone at all?
Just massive, like I say, massive shout out to my Empire, One Empire Management. Without their backing, they do so much for me. So thank you very much. Obviously, TM14 and Fight Academy for getting me on these bigger shows at the minute, which has been class. My coach Carl Ellis as well dedicates all of his time, not just to me, but to the boxing club. So thank you very much. And then yeah, all my sponsors. Without your support, camp would be a lot more stressful, a lot harder. So thank you very much.
And from me, Brad, a big thank you for your time and good luck on April 4th. All the best.
Thank you very much, mate. You're coming, aren't you, at the minute? You're planning
Well,
on coming down?
hopefully, mate, I'm open to.
Fingers crossed. It'd be nice to meet you face to face.
Fingers crossed, mate. Good luck with the fight, and I hope to see you there.
All the best, Sam. Thank you very much.
Bye, mate.